Now, more royal revelations this morning as the Duchess of Sussex finally released the first episode from her £18 million podcast. Royal editor Russell Myers joins us now. And there is one story that everyone is talking about, and she speaks with huge passion and emotion. And yes, there's been a bit of a chat this morning going on about it, isn't there?
Spotify are probably loving it because it's got loads of coverage, long-awaited podcast. I think we've been waiting about 18 months. There was only one initial sort of intro very long time ago, sort of Christmas, two Christmases ago. And now we have Meghan's podcast, The Misconception of Ambition. And I was actually really interested to hear what she had to say because she's speaking about how sort of the labels and the tropes that women, especially ambitious women, have to deal with, sort of juggling motherhood, successful careers. And her first guest is the absolute legend, Serena Williams, her good friend, who she, makes a big point of telling us how great friends they are in several moments in the podcast. But the issue is that she was trying to get to was about sort of the issues that women have, but she brings it back to herself. She starts with a story about how she wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble, the big pharmaceutical giant who had made an advert in the United States about women washing dishes. And as an 11-year-old, Meghan was sort of outraged about this, and she wrote to the chief executive. She got the advert changed, very laudable experience. However, we then go back into a story, and this is the one that everybody is talking about, because in 2019, when Harry and Meghan were on tour in South Africa, Meghan reveals this story about how that her son, Archie, who was only about 4 months old at the time, was being put down in his nursery. They'd gone to an official engagement, and yet there was a fire in the nursery. We haven't ever heard this before. I was on the tour in 2019. I can't believe this has never leaked out. But let's take a listen to what she had to say.
I mean, we did reach out to the palace for comment. We haven't had a response on that. What has the reaction been like then so far? I know it's just happened overnight, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's very split, and I think that certainly the palace will be angered at certain issues that Meghan is talking about for financial gain. Let's not forget that they've signed an £18 million deal with Spotify. There's 12 episodes in this series, and one of the things that she talks about is ambition, and about how ambition, in her words, was a terrible, terrible thing, about how she'd got into the family. She didn't realise that all the pressures that she would be under when she got with Harry. And let's take another listen.
It's really interesting.
Well, discussion. It could be, and I think that the issue that we have here is this is a really interesting subject. I mean, I'm a father of a young girl. I was really interested to hear about the sort of pressures that young girls are put upon. She speaks about with Serena about in classrooms from very young age to when they get to high school and college. Young girls feel that they can't raise their voice, and this is something that we need to do as a society. And yet Meghan just speaks over and over and over Serena Williams. This is a woman who has been at the top of her game for so long, and I felt that we just didn't really hear anything. This was the interview the world wanted. Serena Williams has just announced her retirement, and yet we don't really learn anything. It's a real shame, I thought.
But it's interesting, the ambition thing. I think there's a big cultural divide when it comes to, certainly with America and the UK. I think here we are a little bit, you almost don't want to look too big for your boots. There is a bit of that, and I think that is important to discuss. And I do think sometimes women can be labelled ambitious, and it does equal, there's a negative connotation to it.
Absolutely,
and absolutely opposite when you say a man is ambitious. And it's not like that so much over there. It's very much the American dream, and you can get out there and do what you want. So as you say, it's a really important discussion to have, but you don't feel it was maybe done in the right way.
I don't. I mean, listen, we bring on to another part of Prince Harry makes this sort of, he's been reduced to a cameo. He was introduced in the very first episode they did. He's now been sort of sidelined into the background. He actually comes on and says, makes a remark about how Serena's got a great vibe with her hair. I mean, this is a guy who's part of the royal family, served his country with valour, and yet now he's sort of like a bit part player. Interestingly enough, that he's sort of brought into a discussion with Serena Williams about how they she was deciding whether to retire, and he was part of that discussion. And we've got another clip, actually.
So they're obviously very close. I mean, they talk about that the whole way through it. She's got big names every single podcast, so it'll be interesting to see how this develops, really. It
will be. I mean, listen, it hasn't really done that great in the charts at the moment, but Mariah Carey next week, I mean, this is a woman who is legendary for being a diva, so I am all ears for the next episode.
Well, for £18 million, there has to be some sort
You
of
would
big
assume so, yeah.
stories in there. Spotify or whatever the platform is, they need headlines off the back of this. So
Absolutely.
there's got to be more to come, and that's got to be slightly worrying for the royal family.
Yes, I imagine so. But listen, when Meghan speaks, we're all listening, aren't we?
Absolutely right. Gosh, it's so interesting, isn't it? I have to listen to it in full
You
now
will
just to
do.
get the complete context. But yeah, thank you so much, very much indeed. Thank you, Russell.
Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.